Loads of transfer rumours swirling around in the Premier League, so let's have a catch up with some of the biggest headlines, but not the biggest one. We're not discussing that. Today's episode is going to be an Alexander Isak free zone. I feel like I've discussed him enough this week. Instead, I want to discuss Wolves. I want to discuss Fulham. Finally, they're being linked to someone. And Leeds United, possibly a way to spend big money on a winger as well. But we're going to start with Burnley, Manchester City. I was going to say Newcastle United fans, therefore, could perhaps enjoy today's episode. But they can't, because they've been done dirty once again. I think this is maybe one of the harsher ways that they're going to miss out on one of their top targets this summer when we discuss James Trafford. Before we get into it, if you're new to Tartan YouTube channel, please do subscribe. Trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before the Premier League kicks off in 3 weeks. So 450 subscribers in 3 weeks. It's a big ask. It's going to go close. At the minute, the odds are stacked against me. I think I'm going to miss out. But if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. And also do drop a like on the video as well by clicking that thumbs up. It takes 2 seconds. It's free. Helps out the video. Helps out the channel. I appreciate it. Makes me happy. I appreciate you. You that's just liked the video. I appreciate you. Anyway, James Trafford. When Man City sold him to Burnley, they had 2 clauses in there. They had a very public one that everyone knew about, which was the buyback clause, 40 million. So City wanted to buy him back, they could do for 40 million. But they had another clause in there, which I haven't seen reported up until the last 24 hours, and that is a match clause. So Newcastle United negotiated with Burnley. They've done the graft, they've done the hard part here. They agreed a deal with Burnley for James Trafford for 27 million. But because of the match clause that Man City have, they just sat on the sidelines, let Newcastle do the hard bit. Once Burnley accepted it, due to said clause, all Man City have to do is match what Newcastle have agreed, and it automatically gets accepted. That's exactly what's happened here. So Newcastle identified Trafford, went after Trafford, got a deal agreed with Burnley, and Man City just swooped in at the 11th hour and got their man. Pep wants him. That's enough of Trafford. He wants to go back to Manchester City. He is going back to Manchester City, and it's another blow for Newcastle. Just when you think it can't get worse, he who shall not be named wants out after missing out on Ekitike. You've missed out on Mbomo. Right, okay, let's go get Trafford. Oh no, you can't have him either. You're missing out on another top target for your goalkeeping position, because he's off back to Manchester City. I think this is what twists the knife a little bit for Newcastle in this deal. They had a deal with Burnley agreed. Nick Pope was messaging him publicly on social media saying, "See you soon." He was confident Trafford was rocking up at St James's Park. I think everyone was. I was confident he was rocking up at St James's Park. I was also confident Mbomo was rocking up at St James's Park. Hopefully Eddie Howe wasn't, because it's another blow to Newcastle's plans this summer. But this is a good signing for Man City. I think the way I see the pecking order at the minute, England's got 3 goalkeepers that are just apart from the rest, in my opinion. Pickford, Henderson and Trafford. I think whoever you consider to be England's 4th choice goalkeeper, I think they're quite some way off their 3rd choice goalkeeper. Possibly, probably England's future number 1 keeper as well. That's what Manchester City are purchasing here. They know how good he is. There was a reason that the buyback clause was 40 million, because they expected him to become a really good goalkeeper. And he's improved a lot at Burnley. Struggled in his first year in the Premier League. I think he needed that season in Championship. He's gone down there, been part of a fantastic defence, come back up with them. Off to the Etihad he goes. Now, I assumed that would mean Ederson's leaving. There's been a lot of talk for a while now. Last summer, Ederson was close to leaving. They were going to get the keeper from the Bundesliga, Zetterer, to replace him. And then they were going to promote Stefan Ortega. But it looks like it's him, Ortega, that's going to be leaving Manchester City as a result of this. And he's being linked to Burnley, who I think he would be a fantastic signing for Burnley, because this is a problem. They had an incredible defence in Championship. What was it? They conceded 16 goals? 15 or 16? We'll go harsh and say 16. Conceded 16 goals in 46 games. Incredible. Now, you're not going to do that in the Premier League. Even if you kept your defence the same, you're not doing it. But they haven't been able to do that. They lost CJ, now they're losing Trafford. So that defence that was a big part of Parker's success last season has departed. I think Stefan Ortega would be a brilliant replacement for James Trafford. Obviously not a long-term one, but I think you could argue that Ortega's more ready for the Premier League today than James Trafford is. I think Man City are buying a goalkeeper for 2 seasons' time. Burnley would be getting a goalkeeper for right now. A very experienced goalkeeper, a very capable goalkeeper. Yeah, I like it. I like this. I think City are getting a top keeper, Burnley are getting a top goalkeeper. Right, moving on to a transfer that has been confirmed and announced, and that is Jhon Arias. He's joined Wolves for 15 million plus a potential 4 million of add-ons as well. Turns 28 just not long after the new season gets underway. Now, I'd heard of him before because my team West Ham had been linked to him previously. Like last summer, we were linked to him, but I hadn't really watched him. The only time I've seen him play is at the Club World Cup. And that's one of the things I enjoyed about the Club World Cup. I watched the Brazilian teams, which I hadn't seen before. I've seen players I'd not seen before. And it was that good. The Brazilian clubs, I think, were that good. It made me think, maybe I should start tuning into some Brazilian football because I enjoyed what they did. He had a really good tournament. Created double the chances of the next best person out of that tournament. Picked up more man of the match awards than anyone else at that tournament. He individually had a great one. Now, I've read he's a winger, but from what I've seen, he didn't really look like a winger to me. He looked like an attacking midfielder, a second striker is how I would describe him from what I've seen at the Club World Cup. Certainly got a decent long-range effort on him. Looks creative enough. I mean, the statistics speak for themselves. Unusual to be leaving South America at, so late on in your career. You tend to leave at a younger age, don't you, to get yourself over to the riches of European football and grow in whatever club and league you end up in. But I think this feels like a good signing for Wolves from what I've seen. It's low cost. 15 million isn't significant for a Premier League club. Obviously, we know how Pereira plays now with his wing-backs and his 2 number 10s behind the striker, which will still be Larsson. So it feels like a replacement for Cunha. Now, the problem Wolves have got, they're not going to replace Cunha. They're not going to get a player as good as Cunha. They're just not going to do it. So they've got to use the money very wisely and improve more than one position in that squad. You've got to get someone in to play the role that Cunha played. I think they've done that now. Well, how do you use the remaining money to improve at least one more position? Because they've got the right wing back to fix up as well with Semedo departing, who still doesn't have a club, does he? Unless I've missed it. I might Google it. I'll Google it after this show, see if Semedo's got a new club yet. But there's more work to be done at the Molineux, I think. I feel like they've been a bit slow to get going. Obviously, they've lost Ait Nouri as well. 2 big players that they've lost that they've got to go about replacing. Bueno, I still think Bueno might step up at Wolves next season. Maybe I'll get him in my fantasy league. I'll keep an eye on how they do pre-season, what they're playing and how involved Bueno is. And if he's involved a lot, then maybe I'll go get him for my FPL. We'll do an FPL video next week. Should we do an FPL video next week? A couple of players I've seen. I haven't made my team yet. I loaded up the app and it said sign in. And when you type in the username, it comes up, scan your face and we'll automatically put your details in. So I said, yeah, do that. Nice one, phone. And it didn't work. It was like, no, password's wrong. So I haven't done it yet. But I've seen some of the prices. I've seen some of the players doing the rounds. A couple of... fancy a bit of him in my FPL team. Anyway, good signing by the looks of it. Although, admittedly, I've only seen him play in a tournament in America over the summer. Leeds United look like they are trying to get Igor Paixao. There you go. I think that's how you say it. Pacquiao, is that how you say his name? From Feyenoord. 16 goals, 10 assists last season, 34 games. Looks like a very good winger. I've been watching some footage today. I went on Wisecout, had a little look at him because Leeds are spending big money on him. 38 million euros is the rumoured price tag at the minute. Leeds are doing business. I like it. I like what Leeds are doing. I like what Sunderland are doing. Not so keen on what Burnley are doing. But they're doing it. You look at Leeds and Sunderland, think at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of them stay up. Now, I'm not going to reiterate myself again about the importance of one of them staying up, but I think this looks like another good signing for Leeds. Need to watch more of him though. But certainly from spending 15 minutes looking at his footage on Wirescout, looking at the stats behind him, Looks quite impressive. Looks quite impressive. Now, Fulham are finally linked to someone. Fulham who have just sort of done nothing. They're just doing nothing. I mean, I've barely seen transfer rumours for Fulham. Like, nothing. They've not been linked to anyone. Nothing. I forgot about them. Someone said on my video the other day, what's Fulham doing? I was like, nothing. Raheem Sterling. They've been linked to Raheem Sterling today, who's been offered to Napoli. Chelsea want £20 million. And do you know something? I used to be a big fan of Raheem Sterling when he was at Man City. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget how good someone is because of how bad they've become. And Raheem Sterling's died off a cliff, didn't he? He was really good at City, then suddenly just not good, and then he's gone to Chelsea, really bad move, gone to Arsenal, another really bad move, and the last few seasons has just been a complete write-off for him. He needs to get this move right. If he gets this move right, he can hopefully get his career back on track, and just, it sounds a bit harsh, but be involved, actually play games regular. I think Craven Cottage would be the perfect destination for him. Now, obviously, he would have to take a drastic pay cut to join Fulham, which I think sometimes I look at players and think, surely you've earned enough of that, right? You've done all right in your career. You've made plenty of that. You can possibly afford to slum it. I don't know what the Fulham wage structure is, but is anyone on 100 grand a week at Fulham? Is that what Smith Rowe's on? I don't know. Let's just go 100 grand a week for Smith Rowe, Anderson. They'll be on a decent wage. Can Raheem Sterling slum it on 100 grand a week? I think he possibly could, right? I expect him to be able to. So therefore, I think sometimes I understand why players want big contracts. I get it, of course I do. It's their job. But I think there comes a point where I think, okay, you've done well financially. Now you need to put your footballing, the money aspect of your job second. You now need to put your footballing aspect first. Your priority has to be, where can I go that's going to become a home for me? Where can I go that I'm going to play minutes? Where can I go that's got a manager that's going to put his arm around me and get me back to my best? And I think Fulham might be that destination for Raheem Sterling. I think there's a lot of Premier League clubs would be a bad move for Sterling. I'll look at it, I think, no, don't go there. I look at Fulham, and Silva has worked with some maybe elder players in the past, if you like, some players that have not quite made it at one of the top 6 clubs in the Premier League. Silva's taken them in, given them a bit of a home, and got them back playing. And I would root for him because I think he's had a real tough gig, Raheem Sterling, because of the media in the country. I think the media at times has felt racist towards Raheem Sterling. The treatment he's had compared to other players has been very harsh in my view. And I think he's had a bit of a tough gig. And I appreciate people say, well, poor him because he's got so much money. But don't know, I would be rooting for him. Wherever he goes, I hope he does that. I hope he goes somewhere, turns it round, and starts to enjoy football again. Because on his day, and it was a few seasons ago now, on his day, he was incredibly talented, able to play in tight pockets of space. He was able to play quick football. He was able to take players on, score goals, set up goals. He was, in my opinion, he was one of the best. Like a few seasons ago, this, like I said, a number of years ago now at City. I loved Raheem Sterling. I thought he was an absolute fantastic player at City. I don't know why it's all gone wrong. Has the Premier League changed? I don't know. But what I do know is I'd like to see him go somewhere and get back to his best. And out of all my... He's been linked to quite a few clubs. I think Craven Cottage just feels right. It's not just Fulham, it's Marco Silva. Marco Silva feels like the right manager for a player like Sterling, who is incredibly talented. He's just had a tough time of it, needs a cuddle, needs to feel important again. I think that's what Raheem Sterling needs. At Chelsea and Arsenal, he must have always felt like a bit part player, coming on for 20 minutes, 10 minutes. When he started games, he was pretty much guaranteed to be coming off as well. Go to Fulham, get your 90 minutes, become a key player in that Fulham side. Because there's space for him in that team. I'm convinced there's, out on that left wing, there's space for him. Him on the left, Smith Rowe in the middle. Whoever he wishes to play out on the right-hand side. Muniz up front. Beautiful. This phrase is going to sound weird coming out, right? But hopefully it makes sense. Raheem Sterling on the left with Smith Rowe, Muniz, Sanderberg, Lukic, Robinson behind him. Just feels Fulham. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head. It just feels Fulham. It just feels right. Sterling to Craven Cottage. Get it done.